and welcome once again to Chaotic Riff TV News. I'm your host, Jason J. Rock Houston, and this is episode number 9 of these news updates, if you can believe it. And I always have fun doing this because we talk about everything that is going on with Chaotic Riff TV, and so you can tune in and know when to tune in and check everything out that we have going on. To start off with, as always, we're going to talk a lot about the This Is Metal show, because that is one of the most popular shows. It's one of the shows I really enjoy doing, and people have really responded to it. So, just last week we posted our episode featuring Bolt of the Heart lead singer Audrey Queen, where we did a nice feature-length interview with Audrey. I've interviewed Audrey myself 2 or 3 times previously for Chaotic Riff, and this was her first time appearing on the This Is Metal show, and I know Tom really enjoyed having her on. One thing I can say about Bolt of the Heart is they are definitely a metal band. There's no mistake in that. But one thing Tom and I were really impressed with is listening to the different songs, watching some of their videos. Each song and video really stands out on its own, which the biggest trouble we had was picking a favorite Bolt of the Heart song. They're all really good and stand out on their own. Aside from saying they're definitely a metal band, it's hard to kind of pigeonhole this band, because other than saying they're a metal band, no 2 songs sound exactly alike. And the videos, you can go on YouTube and check out all their music videos. The videos are like something you would have seen on MTV's Headbangers Ball back in the day, and I just, in the sense of very, very professional looking. I mean, I encourage people to check out the latest music video and single for the song Fight. Throughout the music video for Fight, it's kind of a combination of a band, performing, and throughout the video, the different band members play different parts. The song itself kind of deals with one's personal demons. It's a take on that. So that is our pick for the week, as far as we urge people to go on YouTube and check out Bolt of the Heart's song and music video for the song Fight. And then what I got to really let you guys all know about is that last week also, Tom and I welcome back on to the This Is Metal show for the 3rd time ever, the Atomic Kings, of course, signed to Fire Rock Music Group. And we always enjoy having the Atomic Kings on. They're a great bunch of guys. One thing you can always sense, there seems to be a great unity within the band, a great camaraderie. The guys seem to joke around with one another, and they're always fun to have on the show. They're talking about the fact this November they're going to be releasing their debut album on vinyl finally. I mean, until recently, the album went, before they were signed to Fire Rock Music Group, the album was getting great reviews on all the sites, but the thing was, as great as the reviews were, nobody could get their hands on the album. And then once they signed with Fire Rock, of course, Fire Rock's El Presidente, as we like to call him, Tom Collier, he said, okay, everybody's talking about how great this album, and no doubt it is. It's a great killer debut album. As we were talking about with the guys when they did this episode that we recorded just last week, it became the album that everybody loved, that nobody could get their hands on. Well, that has all changed, because, of course, you can purchase the album digitally. You can, of course, get physical CDs right now in November. You'll also be able to get your hands on vinyl. So this episode with the Atomic Kings that we did last week, it's going to premiere on Tuesday, August 13th, next week. So be on the lookout for that. Now, another thing to look for this week, on Tuesday, August 6th, was let's see, we had the bass player from Incision come on, and they are another great band. But let me tell you, in fact, we had the bassist Joel Kolschner on, and Joel was a really cool guy. We originally were supposed to talk to the singer, but he couldn't make it, so Joel came on instead. But let me tell you, I got to tell you guys a little bit about the episode before you check it out, just so you know what's going on, because we take great pride in presenting great quality shows for you guys. It's what we live for. But on this particular day, we're having quite a bit of technical difficulties. Now, as we like to do at Chaotic Riffs and the This Is Metal show, we have the philosophy that if possible, whenever possible, the show must go on kind of attitude. So with that in mind, the first thing that we have a technical difficulty was Tom was having internet issues, and to the point that we could not see him. He was not able to turn his camera on for some reason. He got the problem figured out after recording that. For some reason, his computer was not recognizing his camera, so he's unable to turn on the camera. So I thought immediately, okay, Tom, I think this is going to be a different type of show than what we usually put together. So I gave him option. Tom, do you want to be part of the show? I said, I think it'd be kind of interesting. We're not going to be able to see, but we can definitely have you as part of the show, and you can definitely ask, questions to Joel and make comments. And so that's exactly what we did. Again, for this episode, keep in mind, Tom was there. He was definitely present, but he was kind of the man that you could hear, but you could not see. So it makes for a very interesting episode. And then on my end, I thought, okay, well, this is something we can deal with. But then, as you'll see, I started having difficulty with my computer, and I'm not sure what was going on because what was happening typically when we do these interviews, whoever's talking will be on the screen. That's how Zoom does it. But for some reason during this episode, my computer started going haywire at the same time, and it was primarily putting me on the screen instead of the different people that were talking. And so I was kind of, while we're recording the show, trying to figure out what was going on. So keep all this in mind when watching the episode. But it made for a very interesting episode. There's a story behind the episode now, which is always kind of fun to have something to talk about. But I tell you, I felt bad for Joel, but he still got to tell his story. He still answered the questions. It was a fun interview. But Joel has already promised to come back for a future episode. So we're going to do our best that when Joel returns in the future for a future episode with us, hopefully we don't have any of these similar technical difficulties, but it happens sometimes. And like I said, our attitude is the show must go on. So we put together the best show possible we could for that day. And I think you're going to still enjoy watching the show. So you let us know what you think when you see it. Okay, guys, now for the big news of the week. As we've been talking, really the big news this week and last week was that August 1st was Tom Collier's first anniversary, his 1-year anniversary as co-host of the This Is Metal show. And I tell you, we just loved having Tom on. I don't know if you all agree. I think you do, based on the comments we see you posted on our Facebook page. But I think it's kind of obvious that the immediate chemistry there was between me and Tom from the very first show that Tom did with us as the new co-host of the This Is Metal show. Tom is a real natural. I just love doing the show with him. And I got to tell you all, and we're going to talk about this next week, and what's coming up this next week and I got to tell you guys, to be specific, on August 7th, which is this coming Wednesday, we are going to record a special anniversary show. And I can't get too much into the details just now. I'll tell you why. But next week when I do the news update, we can talk more about the show once it's aired. Because here's the thing: Tom has been the host for a year, and we want to celebrate that. He's done a super job, and I can't tell you how much I love having you on the show with me, Tom. It's just been super. And here's the thing, guys. So for a special anniversary show that we're going to shoot on August 7th, and once the episode is recorded, we got a special few surprises we're going to edit into the show. That's another thing we don't typically do, because we usually record the show as is. But here's what's going to happen. I've scheduled 3 surprise guests. Now, here's all Tom has been told. This is all he knows. He's been told, Tom, we're going to have 3 surprise guests. Tom does not have a clue who any of the guests are. But I told him, and I'll tell you guys, in preparation for the big anniversary show, I said the 3 guests, okay, have all appeared on the This Is Metal show as a guest in the past. They're all people that Tom knows. One of them in particular, not only was a guest we had on a recent episode of the This Is Metal show, but it was one of Tom's favorite guests. Okay, so I will leave it at that. And next week when we do a news update, we're going to talk a little more about the show because by that point the show will have been shot. We'll be a week away from premiering the episode. Um, so fun stuff ahead, no doubt. And all this week we're going to be celebrating Tom's 1 year anniversary because there's just so much to talk about, too much to talk about just in this one news update. Also, this week, typically we record one show a week, but sometimes for scheduling reasons and other things, we will record like maybe 2 episodes. That's going to happen this week. And then the very next day, on August 8th, we're going to welcome back to the show Riley's LA Guns lead singer and solo artist, Kurt Frolick. Back to the show. This will be Kurt's second time appearing on the This Is Metal show. And I got to say that Kurt has, he's a one guest in the history of the show to appear on the show in the same season. So Kurt Frolick, that's quite an accomplishment, and we crown you with that achievement because we love having Kurt back. Last time we had Kurt on, his solo album 1977 was just about to be released, but at the time he'd only released the first single. And so now the album has been out a while, and now we can talk about some of the other songs on the album and talk about really push the album and talk about it in great detail because the album's been out a while. We've had a chance to hear the songs. We're also going to talk about the fact that finally the Riley's LA Guns album, Dark Horse, is going to be released on Golden Robot Records on August 16th. You know, of course, the album was supposed to come back a couple of years back, but then with the death of Steve Riley, it got kind of delayed and pushed back. Well, finally receiving a proper release. And so we're going to talk to Kurt all about that. Now, finally, to wrap up this news update for this week, episode number 9 of these updates, 2 big things happened in the rock world this week that we got to talk about. Now, last week, we ended our news update talking a little bit about Jack Russell and the fact that Jack had announced that he was retiring from touring basically the music industry because he was recently diagnosed with, suffering from dementia. And I guess he's in the early stages. I've seen a few recent interviews with him. And you can tell it's not the same old Jack. He still seems to be a little bit with it, where he can recall some things, but he's not totally lost his memory yet. But I guess, again, he's in the early stages. Well, also that, just this Friday, I received my copy of Jack's new autobiography. Let me see it. It's called The True Tales of Mista Bone. This is a book. Look at this beautiful cover. This is the back cover. Well, you can't really see, but this is what the back looks like. I mean, it is just a great book. I'll tell you what, I just got the book Friday, and I've read the first 5 chapters. It makes for a really nice read, and so far the book has a really great flow. I haven't gone, I'm just 5 chapters into it, but I tell you, I'm so excited already about reading the book. What I've read so far has just been Jack telling his life story as it is, and I guess now that he's been diagnosed with, dementia, he did this, I guess, right when the time was right. It's coming out finally. It's here. People can go on Amazon and get it. You can go to your local Barnes and Noble store, wherever you buy your books. So this is the latest thing on my reading list. I highly recommend it. Anybody that's a Jack Russell fan, you're going to love it. Lita Ford, I guess, has been pretty good friends with Jack, and so she did a nice little foreword for the book. And we can talk about that maybe in the future. But for now, highly recommend you guys go out and get this. And so we wanted to kind of continue what's going on with Jack Russell right here. And finally, in more retirement news, just this week, Aerosmith finally announced after 50 years they're wrapping up their career. We kind of knew they were doing that. They're trying to go on their last final Peace Out. They're dubbing the Peace Out tour, but they've had to cancel that no more shows. People that have had tickets for the future shows they thought they're going to be able to do. Of course, you can go to Ticketmaster and get your refund, but I know very many people were hoping to see the band one last time. And basically the reason given is Steven Tyler really seriously injured his vocal cord and looks like it's permanent damage it's not going to recover from. But hey, they gave us 50 years. We love Aerosmith. So to Joe, Steven, um, Tom, Brad, and Joey, thanks for 50 years, guys, of great music. We love you. I tell you, some of my favorite Aerosmith. I love everything Aerosmith did, every era, but of course, the classic stuff from the 70s was some of the best. I mean, Mama Kin, Walk This Way, Sweet Emotion. Um, you move into even the 80s and 90s. Dude Looks Like a Lady, Ragdoll, Angel, Nine Lives. I mean, I love it all. In fact, if you want a great representation of everything that Aerosmith was, go out and buy their 2023 Greatest Hits collection. We did a great episode of the Big Bang Review Show on that CD. So if you want to know more about that Greatest Hits collection, go and check out our Big Bang Review Show we did on that. I tell you, we're loaded up with so much to talk about. Oh, and finally, this is the last thing to tell you guys about, because just today we recorded, my good friend and I, Gar Boris, the latest episode of Gar Boris's Time Machine. Of course, this is our pop culture show that we really talk about every time we do one of these. And just today, like I said, we recorded episode 66. And it was a real fun one because first time in our show's history, we actually did a second episode on Happy Days. It's the first time we've ever done. We already done a Happy Days episode, so many people think, why are you doing another episode on Happy Days? Well, I'll tell you why. Because as great as the first episode was, not only one of our favorite classic TV shows, but I'll tell you guys what. Here's the thing, okay? In 2024, Happy Days is celebrating its 50th anniversary. So with that being said, we had plenty to talk about. And I will just tell you, I mean, one of the things when this episode premieres next Saturday at 8 a.m., I want you guys to kind of keep in mind is Happy Days was like many shows from that time period in the 70s. It had a language all its own. It had its own lingo. I mean, I'll give you an idea of what I'm talking about. I found my thrill. Sit on it. You're such a potsy, you nerd. Hey, you're a Happy Days fan, you know what I'm talking about. But tune into all that in the next week. I'll see you again next week when we do Choatic Riffs TV News Update, episode number 10. Wow. By that point, we'll have done 10 of these news updates. We're just getting started, folks, and the year's almost over. Wow. I'll see you next week. It's been great talking to y'all. Bye for now.